March of 2012, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced that about 1 in 88 children now have autism. That's a 23% increase in just 2 years, and a 78% increase since the year 2000. Experts estimate that 2 to 6 children out of every 1,000 will have autism each year. The largest increases were among Hispanic and African American children. Our research and knowledge of autism grows stronger every day, yet not many people are able to positively identify the condition head-on. Are you?
Tell me what you know about autism.
I know what it is, but I can't articulate exactly like the definition of it.
What do you think? It doesn't have to be a textbook definition. Just
It's a
tell me what you know about autism.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know anyone that is autistic.
Can you tell me what you know about autism?
What I know about it? What I know about it is, to be honest, nothing. I honestly do not know anything about autism. I've heard that, I really don't know anything. I've never met anyone with autism, so.
I don't know much about it at all, to be honest.
Can you tell me what you know about autism?
Put me on the spot. Let's see.
Tell me what you know about autism.
I remember when I was younger on the soap opera my mom would watch, they said that they would have outbursts when they seen red, and that's really all I've ever heard. I don't know if it's true or false.
Tell me what you know about autism.
I know it's a brain disease and that I don't know.
Tell me what you know about autism.
I know there's many different kinds of it, different types, and that there's not really a lot of information because we don't know where it comes from.
Tell me what you know about autism.
It's a neurological disorder in children. It can range from the spectrum of being mild as far as like Asperger's all the way up to severe, where we have social impairment, and cognitive function also can vary. You could also have a lot of OCD attached to some of people with the cases that are more severe.
Okay, so most people can't define autism or even explain what it is. But do you think they'd be able to identify it if they saw it?
If you were to try to pick someone out from a crowd with autism, what would you look for?
I wouldn't really know.
If you were asked to pick out a child in a crowd with autism, would you be able to do so?
I think some you can and some you can't.
What kind of things would you look for?
I believe that their eyes are a little bit more squinty and their faces are more full and red, more color in them, I think.
I think that their eyes are different and their face structure is different, so I think, yeah.
Traits-wise, maybe somebody who is a little bit shy, somebody who's not so much outgoing.
And if you were in a crowd and were asked to pick out, or to try to pick out a child with autism, what would you look for?
Probably the way they were acting, I guess. Just how they were reacting to other people too, and social cues and things like that.
When I was in high school, we had the program where we had the special education kids, but they were kind of in their own area.
While many of us think we know the details of autism, we may not know what life is like for someone living with autism. describe to me when you first found out of his condition with autism and how you reacted to it.
The first thing I found out about was his lack of speech. He didn't have speech. So when he was a year old, he didn't have speech. He was babbling. You know, he started with cooing and babbling. When he was a year old, he started saying a few words. He didn't have much speech, and everyone said, "Oh, he's saying a few words. It's okay because he'll catch up." Then he needed tubes in his ears, and a lot of people said, "Oh, once you get the tubes in his ears, it's going to be like a miracle." He had repeat ear infections, tons of ear infections, where sometimes he would have to spend an entire month on antibiotics. And you're talking about a baby who was born jaundiced, and who, when I was delivering him, I had an infection, and he had to be put on antibiotics right away. And him being born jaundiced is tells you right there that his immune system was weaker than some other children.
So at this point with Stefan, what were you and Steve's concerns?
At this point, he was still going to be my perfect child because he just needed tubes, and it was going to be the miracle that everyone said it was going to be.
What were his first couple words?
So it took us a long time to get him to say "mama." He said "mom," but then even those, he kind of stopped saying those too.
He's now 2 years old.
Still really didn't have.
Only had a very limited vocabulary. So then what was the next step that you and Steve took at this point?
So then we went to his 2-year checkup. And she said that I should probably take him to the ISD to have him evaluated for speech.
Okay. So at this point, is there any thought in your mind that this might be autism related?
Never. Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. We took him to the Macomb ISD. They diagnosed him with speech delay. Then we got him into a program there. And there was a point when he was 2.5 years old where I asked a professional who was evaluating him, I specifically asked, "Does he have this?" And she said no. So this is 2.5 years old, and she specifically said no. And they recommended him for the early childhood special education program. It's 5 days, half days. And in that program they incorporated more language, and they had therapists coming in. But then we had conferences at the end of November, and when I walked into the conference with his teacher, and when she saw that it was me that came in, she grabbed a box of tissues and put it on the table for us. The first thing they said to me was, "Stefan exhibits many signs of a child with autism."
What's your first response?
I cried. And I don't cry. And I cried. I sobbed.
How much did you know about autism before the diagnosis?
Not much at all. I didn't think it was a mental retardation. I thought it was more of Rain Man genius.
Which is a form of autism.
Which is, right. So that's if I had a picture in my head, that's which I think a lot of people even now have. You know, that picture. I didn't know anything about, allergies. I didn't know anything about sensory systems. I knew a lot about speech and speech therapy and language. I was learning, because that's what we were focused on. That's what we were working on the whole time.
What's your alien's name again?
Mr. Blonde Moody.
Okay, where is his 90-degree angle?
Right there.
Show the class.
90-degree angle's right there.
Where's his 45-degree angle?
Right there.
Great job.
My name is Katie Flannery. I've been a speech and language pathologist for over 8 years. Some common misconceptions are that people with autism are all the same. People with autism don't have the ability to express their emotions, they don't have feelings. That people with autism have amazing savant-like abilities or splinter skills like extraordinary math abilities or musical skills, and that people with autism can't learn. Most effective ways to help a child with autism would be to get intervention or help as early as possible, like speech therapy, sensory integration therapy, to use a team approach working together to address their needs, to meet all their unique needs, to use all the resources available in your community or at your child's school, and always keep in mind that one intervention or therapy that works for one child might not work for another child.
So, as far as Stefan's diet goes, what are some of the restrictions? What are requirements, and why?
He is gluten-free, gluten-free, casein-free, which is a protein in dairy, soy-free. Gluten and casein we took out right away because I heard about the diet as an intervention and saw it work right away. Within a few days of taking out gluten and casein, he started saying a few more words. When we go to birthday parties, I try to have, whatever I can have for him. I try to have cake, for his own cake, his own pizza, but he also has a lot of issues with sugar and corn processing. He doesn't have an allergy to them, but he has issues processing and digesting them.
Okay.
So we try to eliminate, at least reduce corn as much as we can, and reduce sugar. They think because we choose to put him on the diet, it's not medically necessary, is what they think. What they don't understand is, well, A, he's tested positive for many of the allergies, and a child with an intolerance of gluten, it's said that when you give it to them, it has like an opium effect. So, on their body, meaning the effect goes straight to their brain, through their body, through their gut, straight to their brain, making them feel groggy. There's so many different things that they can feel with that. So it's because it's not an allergy that makes him break out in hives all over, which some of the stuff does make him break out. But because it's not all an allergy that makes him break out or makes his tongue swell up, people, I think, disregard it a little bit more.
Each person with autism has very different sensory needs. Anything, though, that is unexpected or unplanned has a greater impact on their sensory system and how they're going to react. Some kids might be sensitive to loud noises, others may be sensitive to the tags on their clothing, maybe to human touch, the tasting of something or a certain texture, how it may feel on their hands.
Want me to do
take lunch. Come on.
You gotta bounce the ball and run. You gotta run out there.
This is morning vitamins. So every morning he has to take about seven or eight different things, depending on the day. Some vitamins rotate, like on and off. And then he takes a few throughout the day in the afternoon, and then he takes some at night as well. Or if he doesn't take the vitamins, we see a difference in him.
So in your plans, you have him going through high school, going to college.
Absolutely.
Leading a full, normal life, per se.
My plans for him are the same plans that I have for my other two boys.
What is your advice to parents?
I would tell parents that they need to get intervention and help for their child as soon as possible, to always advocate for their child and their needs, to believe in their child and celebrate their successes, both big and small, and most importantly, never give up hope.
Through all the mess and all the madness, through the large number of autistic cases that are documented every day, one thing will always remain prevalent in the battle against autism: